Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to take a few moments to discuss the First Amendment. As we move into Module 1, you'll be asked to write a paper where you explore a personal freedom. In past English 101 classes, the First Amendment has been a really popular topic. I want to make sure as we move forward that everybody has a great understanding of the First Amendment and what it means to us as Americans. Let's begin by looking at the First Amendment as it is written in the Bill of Rights. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Okay. So that's the wording used in the Bill of Rights. I want you to focus on the fact that everything here is talking about our government, about what Congress cannot do. That seems to be the piece that trips people up when they're talking about the First Amendment. What we just read states that the government cannot, 1, decide who you worship, how you worship, or require that you worship at all. There could be no establishment of a state religion. The government cannot restrict your speech. You cannot be jailed for expressing your beliefs in words or in art. The government cannot restrict the press. Americans have the right to circulate opinions in print without censorship by the government. And the government cannot restrict the rights of the people to assemble, even when they are criticizing their government. These rights are not something that is universal across the planet. They are something that we hold dear as Americans. So in short, the First Amendment sets limits on the government's ability to interfere in your life. Here's where it gets tricky for some people. The First Amendment does not say anything about how your fellow citizens may react to your speech. I'm going to talk about that second piece for a moment now. Okay. For the sake of argument, I've chosen an issue that I think we'll all be on the same side of. Got these cute pictures of puppies. Did you know that it's legal in 44 states to consume dog meat? I hear all of you out there gasping in disgust. My guess is that nobody in this class finds this act to be socially acceptable. Therefore, we're all on the same page, so I feel like it's safe for us to discuss freedom of speech in respect to this topic. The First Amendment says that if someone wanted to give speeches supporting the act of eating canines, the government must allow him or her to do so. The First Amendment says that the government cannot restrict this person's ability to make art, expressing his or her passion for consuming pets, or his or her ability to post online about it, or talk about it to family members at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Okay, the government cannot stop somebody who wants to eat canines from doing any of those things. That is their First Amendment right. However, the First Amendment does not say that this person cannot be fired from a job at the ASPCA for expressing these views. If somebody's views don't align with their private employer, they may be let go because of their views. This is not actually an infringement on their First Amendment rights. The First Amendment does not say that this person's public speeches will not be protested, or that companies sponsoring such an event will not be boycotted by the public. If Chick-fil-A sponsored somebody talking about eating dogs, people might stop going to Chick-fil-A. The First Amendment does not say that this person's friends and family will listen politely to recipes for dog taco, or that they will not argue with this person or even remove this person from their lives. That's really harsh, but they're not impeding on this person's First Amendment right by reacting strongly. In fact, it's their First Amendment right to say what they have to feel in response to this person's arguments for eating pets. Let's move on away from that. I'm hoping that that helps you to see what I'm saying here about what the First Amendment does and does not cover. So in Module 1, you're going to write a comparison-contrast paper. In general, you're going to either compare or you're going to contrast. Here's how the paper is going to look. You're going to choose a personal freedom. You'll research how it has changed over time, and you'll compose an essay wherein you compare or you contrast the past to today. There will be lessons in the module talking to you about what the structure of that paper will look like. This is the idea of the paper. You're going to need to use some reputable sources to support your examination of your chosen freedom, meaning if you wanted to write about medical marijuana, which is currently legal in the state of Arizona, you would need some research to show when it wasn't, and to document how it evolved in our political system, how it is regarded by the federal government, etc. You would have sources to support these ideas, not just your personal opinion. If you choose to write about any of the freedoms expressed in the Bill of Rights, just be sure first that you quote the amendment in your paper. So if you heard about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, quote the amendment, because you can't talk about freedom of speech without meaning the First Amendment. And just remember that the Bill of Rights protects us from overreach of our government, not from the opinions of our fellow citizens, and not from possible repercussions for our words or actions. All right, let's finish. Let's say you're thinking about this topic and saying, I don't know what I want to write about. I thought I wanted to write about how my in-laws yell at me for my political beliefs. Well, that topic's not going to fly. But here are some ideas to get you going. Okay, think about the idea of right to bodily autonomy. A hot topic today is whether or not to circumcise a boy child in America. Female circumcision is still a problem across the world. Birth control, bodily adornment, how has it changed the way we receive, seeing people with tattoos and piercings today as opposed to in the past? Fathers' rights, are fathers treated the same in a divorce or custody hearings? LGBTQ rights, we've seen a lot more gains for this community in recent years. Some things that are still being debated might be, the right of an LGBTQ family to adopt. Guns rights or the Second Amendment. This goes both ways. You could look at how we explore the right to own a gun or carry a weapon, and those people who are opposed to rampant guns in America might want to write the opposing side of that. Hot topic, right to health care or affordable medical treatment. The right to end one's own life, which is also called euthanasia. That's legal in some states, but not in all. The right to medicinal or recreational cannabis. Right to cancer treatments that are not approved by the FDA. This would be very specific, but sometimes there are treatments that are in trial and they're doing very well, but people who are dying of cancer do not have access to them because the FDA hasn't finished ruling on them. That could be an interesting paper. Children's rights. Think about a child's right to safety, to not be spanked, which used to be very common and acceptable. Right to an education. So equal right to a quality education. Arizona, we have a big discourse going on right now about school choice. Internet as community space and a right to access. There are places in America where one's run-in with the law might cause them to not have access to the internet anymore. Net neutrality is something that we've been talking a lot about these days. Maybe you'd like to write a paper about that. Right to privacy. Again, right to privacy, you're referring to the Bill of Rights, so you'd probably want to look at right to privacy from the government. Victims' rights versus prisoners' rights. The Sixth Amendment is the right to counsel, meaning even if you can't afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you. So here are some interesting topics that you might want to explore if the First Amendment no longer floats your boat as a paper topic. As always, come talk to me, email your instructors, ask for help. Your instructors are always here to help you out and help you to be successful. And I will see you in class.